scripture of the day today. We're going to go to James, all right, old Jimmy. He has a lot to say. What I like about the book of James so much is it's basically, it's a spiritual uppercut, right, from start to finish. Like, it really makes us lift our game, all right? So I'm a big fan of what Jimmy had to say. And so here's what, so James 2:14, and we're going to read a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and kind of put it in the context of business. It says this, and you would know it. What good is it, my brothers, if a man claims to have faith but has no deeds? All right? What if we claim to have a faith and we have no deeds? Can such faith save him? Question mark. Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to him, "Go, I wish you well, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about his physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it's not accompanied by action, it is dead. But someone will say, "You have faith, I have deeds. Show me your faith without deeds, and I will show you my faith by what I do." You believe that there is one God? Good. Even the demons believe that, and they shudder. You foolish man, do you want evidence that faith without deeds is useless? Was not our ancestor Abraham considered righteous for what he did when he offered his son Isaac at the altar? You see that his faith and his actions were working together, and his faith was made complete by what he did. Complete by what he did. And then it goes on to say, Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, as he was called God's friend. You see that a person is justified by what he does, and not by faith alone. In the same way, was not even Rahab the prostitute considered righteous for what she did when she gave lodgings to the spies and sent them off in a different direction? As the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds is dead. That's a really long way of explaining that there are two elements to our faith walk, okay? We are justified by faith, and what James is saying here is that the deeds component is super, super important. You know, one of the messages in the church right now is if you just believe, it's all good. Yes, true, but not a total truth. James is telling us we've got to lift our game in terms of our deeds. Here's an interesting part, right? Remember this, it says, if one of you says to him, "Go, I wish you well, keep warm and well fed," but does nothing about his physical needs, what good is it? How many times do we have people that will say, "I'll pray for you," they'll say, "I'll do something," but when it comes to the actual action of sacrifice, it falls over? See, how does this play out to business people? I think the world is screaming out for practitioners of a generous life. Right? They've seen Christians walk in and out of churches every Sunday for hundreds of years, right? And they hear them, you know, they can speak nice sermons. They can, you know, eloquently tell people that they're a sinner. They can do all those things. But what they're waiting for is to match that with deeds. Actually, for us business people, reaching in our pocket, okay, using some of our profits and using that to fund some strategic initiative that's going to show the love of God practically in the world around us. Okay? And it comes in many forms. It doesn't have to be the money, it can be the influence. You could use the products and services of your business to bless people. It comes in many forms, but it actually requires a deed, and the deed is accompanied by sacrifice. You probably have to go without selling that product to a customer so you can bless somebody with it. Go without the profits that you just made because you're going to fund some project to help some people. The world need practitioners. The world want to see that we don't just talk about our faith and pay lip service, but we actually back our faith, put our money where our mouth is, and get something done. Now, obviously, everybody's at a different level, right? You might be in a brand new startup where you're thinking cash flow is really tight. Fine, this isn't about the amount. How do I know it's not about the amount? Because there's a woman in Scripture that gave 2 mites, and she made it in the Bible. It's not about the amount. It's about the heart that goes behind it, that says, I'll go without this purchase because I want to be able to contribute and be part of the solution and not part of the problem. If I could put it to you this bluntly, if you and I as Christians in business build a business, make a profit, and find a way to spend it on ourselves, then how are we any different from the world? Well, that's not set apart. That's not called out. That's complicit behavior with the same model that isn't working. You and I need to lift our game with deeds, and I say you and I. You know, it was a deed of ours as a family to go and buy 2 caravans and fund 2 families and to go around the country, you know, fully funded by us. That required a sacrifice. That was money that didn't go somewhere, that had to go onto that thing. Every March we hold big events around the country, right? Convention centres, Gold Coast, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth. That costs money. We take a loss on those every single year. That is a deed of mine to be able to fund the loss. And I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to be an example here of where I have decided, hang on a minute, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to show people what it looks like to be a generous person and be Jesus's hands and feet in some small practical way. You need to find yours, right? Whether that's funding your church to a bigger level, whether that's funding some outside church. You know, I reckon one of the best things you can do as a result of this video is ring your pastor now and say, I want to get behind you in a bigger way. And although I can't write big checks today, I'm going to get behind you even more. And then watch that journey unfold. So I just know that if we're going to influence the world, if we're going to start to change culture, it's going to happen because our deeds match our faith. When our deeds don't match our faith, like James says, well, what kind of good is it? Anyway, that is our wonderful scripture of the day.